Hello, I'm Natalie Glasson from the OmNa Sanctuary. This week's channeled message is from Lord Melchizedek, and it's entitled Awakening Your Divine Inspiration. Greetings to you, beloved beings of light. I am Lord Melchizedek. Many also know me as the Melchizedek consciousness. There are many labels to my energy. I come forth today as a universal logos. And it is from this universal vibration within the Creator's universe that I bring forth my energy, my support, and my wisdom to guide you. Within your being, there are so many processes of awakening taking place that it is challenging for you to recognize each and every one of them. And it is not essential for you to recognize every awakening taking place within your being. Some simply activate and blossom and integrate into your being without your awareness, and yet they offer foundation and support, and maybe even inspiration and encouragement to aid you in your spiritual evolution. I first wish to acknowledge the word to awaken, awakening process. What does this mean to you? Because it is very important that you understand within your mind and understand within your being. When you recognize what you believe mentally awakening is, and then you go within your being and ask your soul, what is awakening for me? You might discover that these two are different. And it might be that the soul needs to educate the mind in the process of awakening. Because often, even though the soul has power, the mind can dictate and can hold a power in the creation process. So even if the soul believes that awakening for you is in a certain way and your mind believes differently, you might actually end up experiencing what the mind holds on to. So it is very important to have these two in sync. And especially that the mind adopts the understanding of awakening from your soul. For my consciousness, it is that awakening is a deep relaxation that allows for a surrendering. If you can imagine that you are sitting in a room and the room is filled with all things that belong to you, and you're touching all these things, you're holding on to them, even with your feet, every part of your legs, your back, everything is just touching these belongings. And you imagine that you inhale deeply, and as you exhale, you just allow these belongings to float away. Now that, for me, is relaxing, breathing deep into a surrendering process, where you just allow everything to have space. It's not that they float away completely, but there's more space. And then with that, you are able to connect into the very truth of your being because there's space. You've given yourself space to connect. And then the divine from within your being fills that space. And that, I believe, Lord Melchizedek, is to awaken. Now, we are also talking about today, that you are experiencing awakening processes that are from the divinity within your being, and that they are inspiring. And this is something that I encourage you to be aware of. The inspiration within your being. When you have an idea or a thought that comes into your mind that's just truly inspiring, we might say that lights your inner fire, that gives you happiness and joy. Be aware of those thoughts. They will come out of nowhere, and you may think that it's your mind thinking it, but they will just flow into your mind and maybe surprise you. And these moments of inspiration, they have two purposes. One is that they are a purpose that requires an action. So maybe you feel inspired to go for a walk somewhere or to do something, and you achieve that, you follow it, you take action. Then maybe something occurs that creates even more inspiration and more love and more truth awakening from within your being. So one form of inspiration requires action. The other, it requires you to absorb it, to become it. And it might be that the inspiration feels so big that you couldn't possibly achieve it. Or maybe you don't quite understand it, but it feels very inspiring and uplifting. That's when you know that it's for you to embody. And it may be that you need to embody it because you will take action in the future. Or it may be that you simply need to embody that process. Embody that energy, and the energy of it, the quality of it, the vibration of it will create further awakenings within your being. It will almost like create a foundation that propels you further into your spiritual evolution. Sometimes it's simply the vibration and quality that needs to be absorbed, and other times there is an action. And you can evaluate this and assess it. Is the inspiration that you receive something that you can act on right now? Or does it feel too much, too big, or that you don't know how to act on it? If you can act, act. If you feel it's not quite within your ability in the moment, embody it. Just breathe its energy into your entire being. And you might want to imagine that process again with the boxes, with all the belongings. You inhale deeply and you exhale and you allow everything to just flow away, to give space. And then you allow, within the next inhalation, you allow yourself to absorb and to breathe in and embody this quality that's come to you from within, an inspiration. And that's why sometimes you have these understandings and these purposes, and you feel like you must take action, but they feel so big. And then you start to take action, but nothing really happens. You feel stuck. And maybe even in a few years' time, you still feel stuck. It may be that that energy, that vibration, that inspiration was simply to be embodied rather than to be acted on. So you may recognize areas in your life that you have been trying to act on for many months, days, years, but nothing's happening. So it may be that there's a need to embody these. So the inspiration is coming from your divinity. And it is a surge. It is a surge of energy. It's a surge of love, a surge of divinity, a surge of truth. And it's immensely important now. And you may find that there are numerous surges of energy, love, and truth from your being coming forth. But this is creating your divine being in the moment. You are forming, you are materializing as your divine being in the moment through these inspirational surges. And your physical body may not change, but everything else will. As you absorb and adopt and embody the awakening of divine inspiration within your being. And this is something that I encourage you to simply be aware of. It doesn't require too much thought. It is simply an awareness, an observation, as if you're looking out the window and observing what's happening. Or maybe the window is to within your being. I will leave you to ponder my thoughts and my guidance. I am present with you, especially in the coming week, to support you. Simply repeat my name and I will be present with you. Melchizedek. With eternal love and thanks, Lord Melchizedek. So thank you to Lord Melchizedek for being present with us today. And thank you everyone for being present with me as I channel. And an inspirational channeling from Lord Melchizedek. And I can recognize as I was channeling, I was made aware of certain inspirations that have come through my being in the last week. And to share one of them, I was in a playground, and next door to the playground is a derelict school. And it's been derelict for about 15 years. It's not like falling down, but the glass is broken and those kind of things. And as I was looking at the school, this inspiration, as Lord Melchizedek speaks of, came up, and it was like, why not create a spiritual school? You know, why not use the building and create a spiritual nature-based school? And I was like, wow, that would be amazing. I could feel the inspiration filling my being. And, but then I kind of went, well, gosh, that would be too hard. And I have no idea, you know, even if the school is for sale, I also can't afford it. And, you know, I have no idea about running a school either, and how you would even go about that, you know, with the paperwork and everything. But it was just the feeling of, you know, if there was a spiritual school, and you know, maybe you can imagine it also, just that feeling of embodying that energy. And I can see that now. I didn't understand it when I had the experience, but with Lord Melchizedek's channeling just now, I can see that it was, you know, almost embodying a teacher energy maybe, and a grounding of spiritual learning and spiritual evolution and nature-based evolution, and just bringing that into my presence. And maybe that's something that my soul is connected to, and, you know, is empowering me as a spiritual teacher even more. So So I wanted to share that with you because as I was channeling, I was just like going, oh, that makes sense. I understand that. So maybe you've had something similar. Maybe if you want to comment about the inspirations that you've had lately and whether you've been able to act on them or whether they feel, as we now know, that they're just for embodying. I say just for embodying, but that's a major thing, isn't it? So, yes. So enjoy your week and explore those awakening divine inspirations.